Hello and welcome to Custer and Wolfe Building a Watch Company. My name's RT.
And I'm Tyler.
And we are Custer and Wolfe. Today, we're talking about all kinds of awesome stuff in the machine room. One issue that you had that we need to figure out how to solve. A couple issues that I had in the marketing process from the military edition, and a bunch of exciting things that are coming up. But first, before we get into that, we got a question from a gentleman named Robert. So let's do that first. All right, Tyler, we got a question for you this week. Last week's episode was you talking about tombstones.
Mm-hmm.
And excellent question from a follower named Robert. Thank you, Robert. And he said, "This is awesome. Do you make your own tombstones for the machines, or do you customize something else?"
Yeah, so we do a couple of different things, but yes, we have made our own tombstones. There's kind of two different types of tombstones that we make. One, like for the buckles, for example, like that's very specific just for that part. That'll only work for that part, won't work for anything else.
Yeah.
And then we have other tombstones that just say accept 2-inch round material.
Yep.
And you can put like 12 pieces of 2-inch round material. Doesn't matter what you're making, but you can put 12 pieces of 2-inch round material in there. Starting with the 5-axis, we're going to start putting more pre-made tombstones because we have this 5th-axis rock lock setup.
Mm-hmm.
So they have studs in the bottom that will just plug in, and with the turn of a wrench, it's ready to go. And then we can plug in other 5th-axis hardware on top of that. And we didn't have to, making a tombstone is expensive. For the record, a tombstone in the world of machining is a fixture.
Yep.
It's kind of shaped like a long rectangle, so it kind of looks like a headstone or a tombstone.
Yep.
That's why it has its name. But this is we're just talking about a metal fixture to hold parts while we're machining them. And even on the ones we make, we're buying a lot of hardware, pre-made hardware to put on there and to actually do a lot of this stuff. We just machine like the core of it, that stainless log, and then we put other hardware, usually from Mighty Bite is where we get most of our stuff on that. But we'll be moving to the 5th-axis on the 5-axis.
And the point of a tombstone, just and go back and watch that that last episode. Just scroll back here in YouTube or on our blog and check out the What is a Tombstone episode that Tyler did. He's wearing the same shirt that he's wearing right now, just for quick reference.
Yeah,
And
continuity.
Robert also mentioned you must have got the heat working because you're in short sleeves, and yes, we did. Yes, thank you. It's regulated now, but check it out because the point of a tombstone is like if you have this much work area in the machine, you can utilize that work area better and not just have like one or two parts kind of just like sitting there. Now you can use all sides of this thing.
To say it quickly, it makes your work holding 3-dimensional.
Right.
It goes from a 2D surface that you can put stuff on to all 4 sides of it, and even a 5th side if you're in the 5-axis to work on. So it multiplies the space that you have to do stuff a lot.
Cool. I can't wait. Next episode, we're going to talk about future ideas for next year, and one of the things we'll talk about is the website. And what I see in my head for the website is like a page just about the case, and then there's like videos on just how we make just the case of the watch. And so I think that's really the bridging the gap between filming these, putting it all in video, and then like, okay, but where in the watch is that? So I think that'll close the loop for some people. So today we are talking about all that kind of stuff. You're making some really cool stuff. You're catching up on military edition. Had one hiccup very recently. I think we talked about that yesterday. And before and then a couple things going on, trade shows coming up and all that stuff. But before we get into that, we just both wanted to say, tomorrow's Thanksgiving. This is the week of gratitude for sure. And we wouldn't get to sit here if not for our customers like you watching this, supporting us, buying our watches, buying our products, even to the people that just bought a t-shirt this year. Thank you. Thank you so much. We are so grateful. And we get to be entrepreneurs because of you. So
yeah, we've said it before, but the only reason this exists is because of our customers. So thank you.
And on that note, if you're watching this and you work for us or with us, like William over here, thank you, sir. Thank you to the whole team, everybody in the shop here, our ancillary team, all of our contractors, our watchmakers around the country, the people in Manhattan making our straps.
Yeah, there's a lot of different people that go into making this happen.
This is, I mean, the people that helped us renovate this building, people that helped us buy this building. Our previous landlord is stopping by today with some mail that didn't get forwarded.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bob, for being so nice as we took a freaking year to build this building.
Yeah. Investors for supporting us.
Yeah. Yep. Thank you to our investors for helping us out, our bankers for helping us out, the federal government for the EIDL and SBA programs. And our our families, our support structures. We couldn't be we would not be able to do this without you. So it's Thanksgiving. Thank you. Let's talk about all the fun stuff that we get to do because we have all of these awesome humans and machines and people in our lives.
Let's do it.
Let's start with the fun stuff. We have 45 of the 4th edition, 45 of the 50 already like fully built, ready to ship.
Yep. For the stainless watches, we have 45 built and ready to go. Production is going really well. I mean, obviously we're behind where we wanted to be. Our goal each year is to have these done by the day that we sell them.
Yep.
But with the move and new machinery and lots of changes, new people this year, we're a little bit behind where we wanted to be. But to be, what are we, a week after they went on sale, and we're
feels like it's been like 2 weeks, but
yeah. We've built 45 of 65 of them. So
that's awesome.
We're well on our way. We'll start building the bronze special edition next week.
Nice. Yep. And we saw, even though we are behind the original goal, I mean, we set that goal, this time last year, and then we just didn't realize the headwinds we were going to hit. And so we saw this coming, and I think we did a pretty good job of setting the expectation with the customers as far as if you ordered one of the first 10 or so 4th edition watches, then you'd get it right away, and then we'd make the rest by the end of the year. I believe we've already shipped most of, if not all of, the orders that we've gotten for that watch. So if you purchase the 4th edition, one of the 50 limited edition watches, now you will get it very soon, like right away. So that's cool. And then special edition, I did my best to say that one's going to be next. We're going to make these one at a time, and so we'll ship those by the end of the year. And I think we're on pace to do that.
And just the way it made sense on the back end building these things, it made sense to build all of the stainless at once and then build the bronze at once instead of going back and forth. And we started with the Hamiltons because we know those movements and we've used those movements. So, that's why we're doing it the way we're doing it.
Speaking of that, though, and one thing that I've been working on, I sent a thank you email to everyone that purchased a military edition watch yesterday. And in that email, I apologized that I went through that process like 10 times, and I thought I got everything. But the confirmation email that they received when they made the purchase was the same email that everyone gets when they purchase a Watch of the Day watch. And so it said we'd ship in 3 to 5 days, which just contradicted everything that I'd said before that. It's like, we're going to make it by the end of the year and all that stuff. And so we had a couple of customers just get confused. And so I apologize for that. And I said thank you to all of those military edition customers. And I'll say it again. We actually had 3 customers purchase one of each. So a special edition and a 4th edition, which is not an insignificant amount of money, to say the least.
Yeah.
And I think just goes to show, it makes this kind of stuff worth it. We spend a lot of time trying to put everything we do on video. Our customers are making a significant purchase sight unseen. They haven't seen. Some of these people came to one of the shows and got to see it, but not all of them. And so there's a lot of trust that goes into that. So thank you, especially to those 3 people, but all of you customers. Really appreciate that. It's fantastic. And thanks for your patience while we, even though it's our 4th time doing this, there's going to be hiccups.
Yeah, we did a full redesign, and if you've been following along with our story at all, you know how unpredictable our move was.
It's a mess.
So yeah, all in all, we're in a pretty good spot.
Yeah. When we're getting feedback though, because they're getting delivered, and one customer answered yesterday, and he said, "I watched every single marketing video you did. I looked in detail at all the pictures. I think he said something. This is not an insignificant purchase for me, or amount of money, basically." And he said, "You guys did an excellent job, but there's nothing that you can do to explain what this looks like in person." He was just like, holding this watch is insane. And he's, I think, basically said, "I'm never going to take it off."
Yeah.
But we're getting a lot of that kind of feedback, which again makes it worth it. It's so cool to see the joy in, customers when they receive it. And then another person said he's so glad he got it before Thanksgiving, because he's just going to show it to like all of his family on Thanksgiving. Which, thanks for that. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's great to get feedback like that, because so much effort goes into each watch. I was thinking recently, because people ask so often, like, how much time goes into building each watch, and I think my answer now is going to be, it takes multiple people, multiple days over the course of months to build each watch.
I think that's very accurate.
And I think that's what our customers appreciate, that like each one of these watches was like a lot of effort and hands-on time was put into each watch.
Yep. All right, by the way, the other thing I did this week was meet with our accountant, and she asked me to put together a more precise cost of goods sold. So we might actually have to precisely answer that question, at least for our accountant, which is a nightmare. How much machine time goes into the screw? No. That's really what I wanted to say, but
Yeah,
she's just doing her job. So
working on it.
Thank you also to our accounting team.
Yeah, but I mean, that is a big goal for 2023.
No, we do.
Is tracking and data management.
Yeah. We know the material costs, but it's she was asking about like the total overhead and labor costs.
Oh, yeah, that's so hard to figure out.
The answer is what you just said. It's months of time across several, like a whole team of people, and days of work for each person. So
Highly variable.
Yeah, and massively variable depending on the watch. And that's why limited editions like the military edition are so fun, because like we talked about in the last episode, it's like we get to spend, or we feel like we're allowed to spend more time on each one, and like the whole experience. So that's cool. And on that note, if like that customer said, seeing it in person is next level. The last episode we talked about different shows, wanting to go to other trade shows. If you haven't seen that one, just another reminder, if anyone has any shows, events, art fairs, ideally like cars and planes and like custom luxury American made stuff. That's where our people want to go and see if you can go see some really cool vintage cars or aircraft or things like that, and some watches. I think we'll get more people there. So if you know any other places like that we haven't been yet and you want to see us there, like one of our customers said, come to Washington, D.C. Yes, sir. We'll try. Let us know. Hit us up in the comments. Send us an email. And, I'd like to do some more traveling to some other places next year. That'd be super fun. And speaking of that, I'm really excited next week going to Chicago. I love Chicago. Even in the cold, it's still cool. And Chicago's the one of a kind show. And it's so awesome. So I'm excited for that. We did have one hiccup though that you showed me and talked about yesterday, and it was the DMU, right?
Yep. Yeah. The 5-axis. We're making the military stands, the watch stands that come with the watch.
Yep.
Which we're gonna have an episode about following this.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
But each one of these stands, I mean, they're so much bigger than a watch. So First of all, they're aluminum, so you can be a lot more aggressive with them machining wise, and they're bigger. So they make like a lot of chips and like a large volume of chips.
Yep.
The chip conveyor on the DMU isn't working. After this conversation, my next list item is to take that apart and see if it's just clogged, if it needs to be replaced. But we've got enough to ship all the watches that have been purchased, so that's nice. But whether we need a new motor or it's just going to take some intense cleaning, that's kind of the not fun part of machining is maintenance.
Yeah.
Because chips are pointy and coolant is sticky and
Yeah, you can't just like reach your hand in there
No.
and kind of try to clear out a clog like
Yeah.
shards of aluminum. That's not
it
good.
sucks. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you
Not
think
fun.
you you jinxed yourself when we were talking about all the shards of all the chips in the mini mill and how we've solved that and it's better now?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, things have been going well, so I'm actually not that upset.
Yeah. I mean,
It's
if this
it's
is the worst thing.
When things are rocky and something like this goes wrong, it's like, "Ugh." But right now, I mean,
we're ahead. We're
we've
good.
had a fairly uneventful November so far in terms of just machines pumping out
Yep.
parts, which is great. That's what we want.
Yeah. That's the goal.
So issues like this on a about to be 8-year-old machine, that's something that's probably never been replaced before. We'll figure it out.
We got to put that on the wall somewhere.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. Just right in the side of the front door. The other, I guess, issue or thing that you and the team brought to my attention, because it's the thing that I like to do, is we need more movements.
Mm-hmm.
And specifically, we need more like Elgin and Waltham movements. We have a ton of 12 size Illinois movements for some reason. And I sent in Slack the other day just a picture I got from one of our pickers. And we have a few people that have, I mean, probably a few hundred movements for us ready to go. I think we did a few conversations about this before on previous episodes, but if you missed out, like, this is one of our most frequently asked questions: where do we get the pocket watches? And maybe when I go to these people or when I have these conversations, we can try to film some of the behind the scenes of that, because it's really fun. But there's these people, I call them pickers, and they are like American Pickers on the History Channel. They're going out and finding estate sales, pawn shops, and they buy the whole thing, like a watchmaker estate. And then there's typically a whole bunch of pocket watches or parts or things like that just kind of sitting in the back. And we might be the only people to buy that level of volume of just American pocket watches. And so I randomly get these text messages with pictures of dozens of pocket watches and try to share them with the team, because it's usually really cool.
Yeah, so basically they buy a big lot from an estate and they break it up into pieces and watches, and
there's
particular sets of
wristwatches in
parts
there, there's diamonds in there, there's gold in there, and obviously we only care about the pocket watches. So,
because I mean, it's not an insignificant task just to like split that stuff up in a way that you can sell it and accurately describe what's there. I mean,
Yeah.
we used to sit for days.
Oh,
Just going, it takes full days just to go through these boxes of.
Yeah. When I go see Seth, like, I kind of don't want to go by myself, because I mean, it's a full day.
That you're basically signing up for 2 days.
Yeah. And then, yeah, I mean, Tyler's been texting me. He's been working on just organizing stuff for us for the last few days, like 3 or 4 days, just putting it all in boxes and getting it all lined up. And he asked me this morning if he could just like FaceTime me, because he's getting overwhelmed. He's just like, I just don't want to send you stuff you can't use. And, you know, I could just fly to Boston, but like, that's also a lot of time. So navigating that, but I'm excited, because that's my favorite. Like, going out and buying movements is just so fun, and bringing them back here, and we'll probably spread them all out on the big table again. That's like Christmas here in the shop.
Yeah. Nothing but potential.
And you see stuff that like we've never, every time there's
Yeah.
like, holy shit, what is that? Like,
No,
how
but seriously
have we
though,
not
you
seen
look at all
that?
these watches, you're just like, oh, that one's gonna be awesome, and that one's
Yeah.
gonna be awesome, and you just start visualizing.
Yep.
All the cool watches that are gonna be built.
And before you get too excited, if we show any like behind the scenes or pictures of those things, even though it makes it here to the shop, I mean, it's months, like probably 6 months, until that one particular one that we think is cool will end up in Watch of the Day. Because of what you said, it's a arduous process to.
And then they show up, and then you're
figure
like,
it
oh, I remember that one.
It's like Christmas all over again.
Yep.
Christmas in July, maybe.
Yeah. Just constant Christmas. It's always Christmas here.
So I mean, that's a lot of stuff you've been working on. The other thing I was going to ask you about was how's it going with the Swiss Turning Center? Because you said you might want to do a whole episode about that, but I know Sky was trying to get all that set up.
Yeah, I want to do a whole episode and get Sky. Sky is pretty much totally responsible for the Swiss. He's both designing the parts, programming the machine, and setting it up right now. It's just kind of like the 5-axis is for me, the Swiss is for Sky. And it's been slow going just getting information on the machine because we're learning it's even less common of a machine than we thought.
Mm-hmm.
That's not to speak on the quality of it. It's an awesome machine.
It's like our watches.
Right, but
it's rare.
it's just not very common, so it's hard to get information on it. And it's
Yeah.
a 2011, so we're talking information on 11-year-old machine that is pretty rare, and we're working through that stuff. It looks like we're going to make a custom post.
I don't know what that
a
means.
post processor for
post processor. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, post. What are we?
So basically, we have software called CAM, just like CAD is computer aided drawing. CAM is computer aided machining, where we kind of design the tool paths, and then the post processor is this set of code that takes our tool paths and puts them in the language that that particular machine can understand.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a different post processor for each machine that we have in the building, even though we use the same software to write the tool paths.
Yeah.
And the Swiss is going to, it's just, like I said, rare, weird, not normal. So we have to make a custom post. Whereas like a normal Haas machine, Autodesk has pre-made stuff that we use and is no problem.
Yep.
But Swiss-wise, we're getting a custom post made. That's in progress now. That's going to speed them up significantly. But Sky's been kind of hand editing some of the Haas posts to make them work for the Swiss.
Yep.
So just yesterday, he showed me the first op on Crown. So he's threading, he's using boring bars, he's drilling, he's doing all the stuff that we need to do.
Nice.
So the plan was with that machine, because there's so many different things going on. We just slowly build up one thing at a time, and then eventually you'll get a full part, just small bites.
Yeah. I feel like the inside of that machine looks like Alien versus Predator, like all the teeth.
Dude, when that thing is running full speed, it's like when it rapids to like get out of the way or something, it's just instant. It just goes.
And there's so many things that are like missing each other by millimeters.
And when it's running, its things are just going insanely fast over really short distances, which makes them look faster.
Yeah.
And then it's going to be machining two parts at the same time. So all this simultaneous motion is going to be going on the front and back, and it's just going to be and 1,000 psi pressure coolant just.
We got to get a GoPro in there somehow.
Yeah.
Or some kind of it's going to destroy whatever we put in there. William's like, no. Buy GoPro. It'll be worth it. We just have to salvage the footage. We got to get the Wi-Fi connected one, so it's like sending the footage so that as it dies, it's still sending the footage out. It's like a camera going to space.
Yeah, I mean, Swiss machines are like the hardest to get footage on too. There's just so much going
so small,
on. It's so hard to see anything. It's like it's going to be super cool when it's running though, and we're starting to see it work and like get the picture of just how fast and how awesome it's going to be.
Stoked. Well, I feel like that's everything that I've been working on.
Yep.
Anything I missed from your list you wanted to update our followers on? Awesome.
No, I think we hit it all.
Well, again, thank you, especially to our customers, but also to just our followers. You know, if you're watching these episodes and you're keeping up with what we're doing, I really appreciate you. We really appreciate the questions. Keep them up. You know, you probably noticed we've started answering questions at the beginning of all these. So if you have other questions for us, other things you want to see, other things you want to learn about what we do here at Vortic, what we're working on in the future, all that kind of stuff, just put them in the comments underneath here on YouTube, or send us an email anytime. It's just info@vorticwatches.com. We'll get those questions answered for you. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube here, or go to vorticwatches.com and get yourself on our email list. We send an email every Tuesday with a link to this video so you can follow along as well. Whichever one is easiest for you. But that's Custer and Wolfe, Building a Watch Company. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving. Nailed it.
Winging it.